Ah, yes!
As possible. Join the hand button. That's good. So we have 4.5 hours of maths a week in Year 2, as we have in Year 1 as well. And for this term, we're going to be covering number sequencing and place value. So a lot of this will build upon the knowledge that they've gained in Year 1. And a very important part of Year 2 is obviously the differentiation within each topic we do. So we will differentiate so that we can challenge and support your son as where he is at. And we are very grateful. We've got a great TA, so they'll also be supporting the boys who need a little bit of extra support. And we've also got Mrs. Cavalieri, our Senko, who will also support the boys who need a little bit of extra help with their number work. Addition with carrying, we'll be sending, when we send this for homework, we'll give you a little guideline on how we do it at school. So you've got an idea on how to explain it if your son is struggling with that concept. Most of the homework that goes home should be consolidation, so that we would have covered it for the week, so it should be kind of just revision. So if you do have to reteach it, please make a note and let us know so that we can go back over that concept. The same with the rest too, the subtraction with borrowing, which is the tougher one of the two. But all those kind of things will guide you when it goes home for homework. We'll give you a bit more guidance on how to help him if he needs a little bit of extra input. Times table is very important. In Year 1 they focus a lot on the number bonds, and now we're moving on to the times tables. It'll also be very differentiated. We'll be testing your sons and seeing where they're at, whether they need to move on to the next times tables. We'll be quite firm they'll have to get close to 100% for a certain set of times table before they can move on to the next one. A little bit of rote learning is useful as long as they also have the understanding of multiplication, which we'll be working on. I'm sure all of us know that if you do have the memory for certain numbers, it does help you to apply it to the harder sum. So very important to know those times tables and number bonds. Division, we'll be going back over the concept of division, and then later in the year we'll also move on to division with some remainders, which gets a little bit harder, and the fractions too. Money, giving, change, you can do that all the time. With maths, it's so easy to do in everyday life. You can, if you're going to the shop, if you walking past the number plate, add up the numbers, all kinds of numbers, looking at odd and even numbers on the doors. There's lots of numbers around you, so you can always kind of draw things from it and just kind of incidentally kind of help your son with a bit of his maths. Measurement, we'll be doing all of those, the capacity and the weight, etc. Telling the time is often a tough one, and so something you can do at home definitely. Just make them aware of the clock. Most of them get the o'clock quite easily, but when we start linking it to digital time, that's when it gets tricky on the quarter to. On this 2 side is always, I call it the twilight zone. It just all goes haywire. So that's where you can just start in everyday life. Just reminding him or mentioning it, or if you walk past something, kind of just draw your son's attention to it. Shape, we'll be doing 2D and 3D shapes, just working upon their foundational knowledge they have from Year 1. Okay. Then in e-learning, we've got Mrs. Tyler at the back, who's a great, we've got lots of knowledge on the e-learning side. She's going to be helping in all 3 classes with the ICT. And you obviously now know we have the laptops in the class, which is great. So we use it for our hour of ICT lessons every week, where we learn skills, like word processing skills. We'll learn how to do a PowerPoint presentation, and use different software programs in that lesson. As well as that, we'll also be using the laptops in our topic work, especially history and geography. We do a lot of research with the laptops. We do maths extension activities on the laptops. We sometimes do publish our creative writing stories on the laptops, so they type it out so we can display it. So we are using the laptops more and more in everyday learning, which is great. we'll be sending little login details for Mathletics and Education City in the message book in the next couple of weeks. We'll just get the new ones printed out. I'm not sure if you had those last year, so we'll just update those and send it home in the message books.
Let's talk about the really fun topics now. These are the ones where we put them up on the board and the boys will always think, yes, because they really do enjoy looking at all these different areas, and we have been updating them and changing them. So, for example, last year we didn't do the polar region, so that's something new, and we introduced the rainforests last year. I'm not going to go through each one, but you can see that it's quite a varied and diversified base that we look at with all the different topics. And again, we start with the unknown, with the known, and work towards the unknown. This is all supported quite heavily with the computers and laptops. And we have heard rumours on the grapevine that we are going to be getting 30 iPads, hopefully by the end of this academic year. So don't quote me, but we'll actually do, because we might actually do get them. And we do support these. So I won't go too much into the trips, because we do support these topics and topic subjects with various educational trips. We'll come to a bit more of that later. We do ask the children to do research at home and with the projects which will be coming home. But we are going to be supporting a lot of this through the learning platform, which Mr. Bay has mentioned earlier. So, for example, when we're doing the rainforest, we send home a very useful video or YouTube clip that for the children to look at. Obviously one that we vetted, that we can make sure that it's safe for your boys to look at. So it's going to be very much communicating these types of things on a daily basis or weekly basis, and we're going to, a lot of our assemblies, our class assemblies are focused around these topics. And the boys really do love them. I had my boys last year drawing World War II battles until I can't tell you how much paper they must have used. It's just something that grips them and it really comes alive for them. So yes, these are great, they are fun, and the boys really do enjoy them. And of course they use all of their literacy skills, which we've been teaching in English, in these subjects as well. So it's all carefully interlinked and interwoven and quite nicely planned. This will all be in the curriculum booklet when it comes round, so you can see it in more detail. Good to see you. This is a really fun one.
It's a really fun one, yes. So we send homework every night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Some will be shorter, some will be short, some will be longer than others. What we aim, we want the homework to be handed in the following day. We're quite strict about that. And the only reason being is because when we give homework the following day, then of course they've got double homework for that evening. Obviously, there are some nights that you just can't do the homework. If you could please just write a note in the message book so that we know why it's not done, so your son doesn't get, not screamed at, but he doesn't get upset that I said, where's your homework? Just so that I know what's happened, we know what's happened. It's not the end of the world, but as I say, we would like it the following day. And homework shouldn't take less. It should take less than half an hour, so it shouldn't be too long. So therefore, if it could be done that evening, that would be great. Again, reading 10 to 15 minutes in the evening. So you've got the piece of homework that will be put in the English or maths booklet. And then the reading 10 to 15 minutes. On the Monday we give out spelling. On the Tuesday we give out maths. Wednesday we want them to do reading. Main focus is on the reading and times tables. Thursday maths and Friday English. The working environment, I know that they've done homework in year 1, but we would like it to be quite quiet and they could have a desk with the proper chair, not just done on the floor. It just helps. It'll just, for them to be able to do their homework when they're in year 8, they'll know that that's their time, that's their spot where they do it. It just makes it a lot easier. But one thing we don't want to happen, if it's an issue and it becomes a big deal, as sometimes it could be the case, children just don't want to do their homework. Don't make a big fuss about it, don't make a big huge song and dance. We'd rather you just come and tell us. We'll be the ogre instead of you being the ogre at home. So if you could just write it in the book, we'll know and we'll deal with it appropriately. And please do, again, keep in touch. Those message books, those little yellow message books are very important. We check them every day. So if you just do want to write a note in there, or same for us, if we want to give you a note, they will be in those yellow homework diaries. That's it. Yes.
I'm sorry, I gave
Sorry.
you the only one
Yes.
asking questions.
Don't worry, that's fine.
The 30 minutes,
Take less
we
than
have
half
we
an
have
hour.
trouble with K. I don't know anybody, everybody that had as much trouble as we do with homework, but
Okay.
it's a nightmare.
Yes.
It's a 30-minute estimate, 30 minutes for the homework you send home, and then 10 to 15 minutes of reading on top of that,
Yes.
and then spelling on top of that.
Yes. Well, with the spelling, you can obviously decide. You know, if there's a longer piece of homework, you can decide, right, well, maybe do 2 words tonight and then do 3 the following day. It might, I mean, we give it as a guide, hopefully less than half an hour, but like I say, if it's taking a lot longer and it's becoming exhausting for you, rather just leave it. Don't have a fight with it at home. We'll deal with it. We'll be the ogre at school and we'll deal with it.
So 45 minutes to an hour for all of it is a reasonable amount of time.
Is a reasonable amount of time.
Okay. And I'm sorry again.
Don't worry, that's fine.
Can you just maybe give us some idea of a good strategy for the spelling?
For
I
the
mean,
spelling.
Is that trying to do it with them every day, or?
What I would do is, personally, if I was a parent, I'm not, but if I was, I would look at the spelling words and on the Monday when they're given to your son, and decide, right, let's do 2 words tonight, and break it up. You can't do all of them in one night, and then possibly revisit it over the weekend. So just do 2 a night.
Okay.
So by the time you come to Friday, Saturday, you've worked through all of them, hopefully, and then on the Sunday night, just revise them ready for the Monday. I always think it's a good thing. We want it to be in their long-term memory, but just revisit it on the Sunday evening so that it's fresh for them on the Monday morning. And I know all of you went, oh, the homework, it does take longer than half an hour, and it might do. It might do, but if it's honestly taking you longer than 45 minutes, it shouldn't be the case, because we don't send homework we don't send long pieces of homework, so it shouldn't be taking them that long. So if it is, just write a note in the book and we'll sort it out.
Will there be a spelling book, like we had in year 1? So
Yeah, no
they
spelling
can just
books.
kind of write into it
They just get that sheet on a
That
Monday,
sheet,
and then
and
we'll
then
have a
go back
spelling
to school.
test book. We don't have another
Another book.
practice book. It's up to you. It's up to you how you want to practice.
because that sheet goes back
It comes back on a Friday.
Yes. And then it'll come
With
home.
your-
So
That's what you're saying, each
with
note.
your
just
grades
jot down
writing.
the words.
Sorry.
I mean, so
Yeah, for the spelling, I've done this in the past. I do the look, write, cover method. So get them to look at it, cover it, write it down on a piece of paper, and then cover it again and write it down. So at least writing it 2 or 3 times per word. I think just get them to just look at that one word, write it on a piece of paper, cover it again and go through it. Because also remember that we have a spelling lesson on a Monday and we do go through the words. We go through the meaning of the word, we go through the spelling of the word, we go through the spelling rule. Because often it'll be a lot of words with the same spelling rule. So they're learning and understanding that spelling rule. Hopefully the spelling of the words will be a little bit easier. Yes.
So the spellings that came home today, with the
Yes.
sentences we need to write alongside it
Yes.
using the word,
Yes.
that's supposed to be back tomorrow, surely?
Yes.
So we need to just make a copy of those words, can we, obviously?
Yes.
And
We
we're
can
not
send
going
it
to...
to.
We can send home 2
You send
copies.
two.
No, it's not a big deal, we can write them down.
And then they can just copy on
Yeah.
that sheet of paper.
We'll work out a second sheet and send it
Same.
out.
Would you prefer getting a second sheet so that you've got a hard copy?
Ah, yes. Well, looky here, ah, what do we have? Another pretty thing ready for me to grab. But little does she know that I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. 'Cause at the end of the night, it is her I'll be holding. I love you so, hey, that's what you'll say. You'll tell me, baby.